फ्रेंड्स, टर्म कवर के बारे में एक जो नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्रिटिकल टॉपिक आता है कि हाउ बिग टर्म कवर शुड आई टेक, द क्वांटम ऑफ टर्म कवर। एंड इसका एक आगे बढ़ने से पहले लेट्स पॉज फॉर 2 seconds एंड आई वुड वांट यू टू क्लोज योर आईज, थिंक अबाउट इट कि इफ यू हैव टू टेक अ टर्म कवर फॉर योरसेल्फ, what is that number which comes in your mind? If you could note down in the comment section below, and then we will see at the end of this video how this number could change for you potentially based upon the details which we discuss. So effectively deciding the amount of term cover is very crucial, because अगर आप ज़्यादा बड़ा ले लेते हो then it is also a problem because it's a cost, you pay for it every year. If you take too less a cover, then it may not solve the problem which you are really wanting to solve, is taking care of dependents. So not many people really like to talk about death or consider what happens if that situation of death comes around. And it is crucial to protect the family members in case your assets are not big enough in case of term cover. आ जाता है यहाँ पर term cover will in that case would result in filling up that gap. But in my experience of talking to many families, what I have realized is that उनके मन में एक स्टैंडर्ड नंबर पहले आ जाता है 1 करोड़। आज से 10 साल पहले ये फिगर होती थी 50 लाख। So what is the right number? We'll talk about in this video. Before that, a quick introduction.
My name is CA Puneet Agarwal. I'm the founder of Banyan FA LLP, where we are one-stop shop for all finance needs of people. Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube, where we release weekly videos related to personal finance.
Okay, so most people may end up using a rule of thumb for term cover. What that rule of thumb could be? 10 times of your annual income, 15 times of your annual income, 20 times of your annual income. Each one of these are guesses at best. I would not even call them an educated guess, but at least it is good enough than not having one. However, not many people realize that term cover का जो amount decide करना होता है, that is not influenced by your income but by your expenses. कि आपके expenses कितने हैं, because आप अपने dependents को secure करना चाह रहे हैं कि उनकी lifestyle similar चलती रहे जैसी आज है. So वो lifestyle क्या है? Expenses हैं. So इसलिए it's very important to understand कि आपकी लाइफ के एक्सपेंसेस क्या हैं. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जाम्पल वेयर द रूल ऑफ थंब फेल इन दिस केस. एक लेडी है, वेरी एजुकेटेड, हैज़ डन अ PhD एंड मास्टर्स फ्रॉम अ वेरी रिप्यूटेड कॉलेज, एज 32, मैरिड, एंड नाउ हैज स्टार्टेड अर्निंग. द अर्निंग्स इन द इनिशियल स्टेज वुड बी वेरी डिप्रेस्ड. लेट्स से 10 लाख per annum. If you apply the rule of thumb of 10 times of the income, the answer will be 1 crore. Would that be sufficient? Let's look into the calculations, whether this works or not, right? So, as I said, it's critical to know your expenses. In the meantime, it is also critical to know कि dependents कौन है, क्योंकि expenses dependent के perspective से देखे जाएंगे ना. Dependents के example कौन हो सकते हैं? Parents, spouse, kids, उनके खर्चे समझने पड़ेंगे. So here a requirement is that you are able to understand the concept of budgeting of expenses. We have a very detailed video where we have over screen share explained how budgeting works. Link is in the bio below. Please kindly go and have a look and play around to understand what your family's expense budgets would be. Now, expense में क्या क्या include होता है? Let's take a few example. Rents, groceries, school की fees, medical bills, insurance के खर्चे, these all go into expenses. And don't forget to add those discretionary expenses like कभी कभार के जो electronic add होते हैं, gadgets add होते हैं, holidays होते हैं. Would you not want the dependents कि उनकी standard of living इन चीज़ों पे maintain रहे, right? Expenses for dependents हमें forecast करना है for the foreseeable future. So उनका अपने को literally उनकी age तक का forecast कीजिए and उसके बाद उसकी आज की date में present value compute करना होता है. This might sound to be little bit technical and mouthful. So what we will do, we'll now get into a screen share time where we will get into details of how this is done. Okay, so here what we have got is an expense estimation model or a tool which we have identified कि उसमें हमें कुछ चीज़ों को compute करेंगे. पहला कि आपके dependents के लिए when you're trying to compute how much term cover is required, what is the expense over there, and लाइफ मेंटेनेंस एक्सपेंस हमने क्या अज्यूम किया. लेट्स से द फैमिली वुड नीड रफली 50,000 पर मंथ. सो 50,000 इंटू 12 करके वी गेट रफली 6 लाख रुपीज़ पर ईयर का अमाउंट. ठीक है. देन द नेक्स्ट बिट इज we have added another 4 lakh rupees worth of amount towards discretionary expenses to cover their standard of living. ठीक है, टोटल मिला के रफली 10 साल का आ जाता है, 10 लाख रुपए आ जाता है. ठीक है. Now assumption is that a person is taking this term cover or is assessing the expenses for dependent जिसकी एज 30 years है आज की डेट में. तो then the point that we start thinking about is कि अगर 30 years है तो how long a particular person, your dependent, will be living for, life expectancy कितनी है. So assumption में again what we have considered is 90 years would be the life expectancy of the person. 90 साल तक वो जीवित रहेंगे and आज की एज 30 है तो हम 60 years तक के लिए हमें 10 लाख रुपए पर ईयर चाहिए. But don't forget inflation, 10 लाख रुपए हर साल बढ़ते रहेंगे 6% की रेट पे. अब इन सबको हमने ये अज्यूम किया है जब टर्म कवर का पैसा आएगा तो वो पैसा कहीं इन्वेस्ट हो जाएगा एंड उस इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लस टर्म कवर के पैसे के रिटर्न्स के साथ द मनी वुड बी सफिशिएंट फॉर द ड्यूरेशन लाइफ ऑफ दैट डिपेंडेंट. तो उस का एस्टिमेट करने के लिए वी हैव यूज्ड 8% एज द रेट ऑफ रिटर्न एंड आवर computation tells us that the corpus required for the future of your dependent is roughly 3.6 crores. Imagine 6 lakhs का expense, 4 lakh is discretionary, total 10 lakh rupees का expense, 60 years तक की duration के लिए dependent के लिए चाहिए. Assume rate is 6% of inflation and this is the amount. इसको कैसे translate करते हैं in real life example. Let's say यही amount अगर let's say 6.4, let's say the person who took the insurance died and 3.6 crores is given to the dependent. Now dependent would incur a cost of 10 lakhs in first year. Inflation के साथ आप देखिए नंबर बढ़ता चला जाएगा ये वाला and ये amount would then be used to pay the cost for the dependents. After paying for the expenses the term cover amount would reduce जो उसको मिला था. That money is obviously getting invested at 8%. तो investment return ये आया and closing value after 1 year would be this for the term cover का proceeds जो बचा था. Year on year ये होता रहेगा. Gradually what would happen is term cover would fully and by the time the 60 years has passed will go down to zero. So that's how the term cover computations are done. But एक बड़ा interesting चीज़ देखिए, if we would have assumed that a rule of thumb and जो हम कहते हैं 12, let's say the person's income at this point of time is 12 lakhs. Now, if 12 lakh is the income and we would have applied a rule of thumb of income wala part, like 10 times of the income, annual income, so the answer would have come to 1.2 crores. If you would have even applied the higher one, 20 times of your annual income, this number would have come to 2.4 crores. But you saw that the amount which is actually coming out is higher than what it was a rule of thumb could help. So rule of thumb could help a little bit, but it may not be accurate because the drivers behind the term cover computations are not your income but your expenses. So अब term cover का एक key part आपको पता चल गया कि भाई dependents के लिए मुझे कितना corpus चाहिए, which was the outcome of a calculator. This is one of the data points which you need. The other data points which you need is that क्या मुझे अपने बच्चों की हायर एजुकेशन के लिए कुछ बजट करना है. अब वो डिपेंड करता है कि बच्चे कौन से कॉलेज में जाएंगे फ्यूचर में, इंडिया में, इंडिया के बाहर. डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर रिक्वायरमेंट इट माइट स्वे फ्रॉम एनीवेयर 20 lakhs to like 2 crores. So depending upon your aspiration you add that bit to the amount which came in. Second, कोई existing loans हैं क्या, या फ्यूचर में just are you about to take a loan? So let's assume that you are thinking that मेरे पास अभी की डेट में 1 करोड़ का एक लोन चल रहा है for my home, so add that in. और इफ यू माइट से मैं फ्यूचर में 1-2 करोड़ का लोन लेना चाह रहा हूँ, ऐड दैट इन. टर्म कवर बार बार थोड़ी ना एडिट करोगे. तो लेट्स काइंड ऑफ ऐड अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ योर नियर फ्यूचर लायबिलिटीज और एक्जिस्टिंग लायबिलिटीज. देन एडजस्ट दिस नंबर फॉर एनी स्पेसिफिक नीड्स और एनी स्पेशल रिक्वायरमेंट्स लाइक could be anything. Example, अगर कुछ extra amount you want to add on just in case to boost up the kitty, add that all in, and that is a total amount which is your starting point for your term cover. So I hope you might be able to identify your requirement through this thing. It can be a bit complicated and it may require a little bit of personal finance skills. Term cover may rule of thumb, it may a good start, but not always the right answer. You may need an assistance of a financial advisor. So I would suggest get in touch with any of your known person who could help you to refine the calculations which is needed for this one. With regards to what all you need to bolt on your term covers like riders and all, they all would be now coming up in our next set of videos. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.